not to be confused with psychosis, this is almost like mass formation hypnosis. How you doing, John?
It's exactly what it is mass formation. I forget what this Matthias, what is it, Matthias Desmond or something, called it mass formation psychosis or something?
Yeah. I
yeah,
thought
but
it was that guy Malone who said that.
No. It was a guy named Matthias Desmet who originally kind of came up with this categorization. I think Malone kind of ran with it.
Yeah, no, there, look, they see he's stolen it.
Yeah. So, but the net of it is, I call it, group hypnosis, mass hypnosis. And something happened this week that one of our viewers called to my attention, and it blew my mind. And I think it changes everything about the pandemic story. And I think it is possibly the single biggest indication of a massive cover-up. And so that's what we're going to explore. Now, I could be wrong, right?
No, I agree with
you. So remember, I'm just a bad comedian, right? So as a bad comedian, Russell Brand is a good comedian, and he's wrong all the time. So as a bad comedian, imagine how often I'm wrong. So I could be wrong. Well, I could be wrong. So in other words, don't listen to me. This isn't information of any type. This is entertainment. These are jokes disguised with data, okay? Let's take a look at this deck before we go to the patron-only portion of the show. You guys know that we only have like 25 minutes together here on YouTube. And then Jason and I are going to share a lot of these observations and the details of the observations and sort of the supporting materials with our patrons. And we do that. I have Patreon and Subscribestar, and that's it. That's all I have. In other words, I don't make anything from YouTube. I'm not monetized. Right. Jason's not monetized on YouTube. And the reason is YouTube has really sensitive rules. So we want to be kind to our hosts. We want to be polite. We only stay for a few minutes at the party. And then we go to the after party where the cool kids hang out. So Jason, if people want to join you and help support your work, where can they find you? At Subscribestar and Patreon, Crowdsource the Truth, right?
Absolutely. You got Subscribestar, Patreon /Crowdsource the Truth, Odyssey.com/@Crowdsource the Truth. The thing that's great about Odyssey, John, you've got live chat on all the live streams, even the sponsor exclusive ones, and people can subscribe to Odyssey for free. I've been loading it up with legacy Crowdsource the Truth content, and you can also sponsor the show.
We've been using it, and you've got Rumble, you've got Substack.
Rumble, though, I don't trust Rumble. You don't have the
subscriptions?
Well, they're in business with Truth Social, which is Devin Nunes and Stephen Biss while he was conscious. And, that Rumble channel, I've had it for, I don't know, maybe 4 years or more. I don't even have 1,000 people on there.
People can support your work at substack.com/crowdsource.
Crowdsourcethetruth.substack.com. That's great because you can get the Twitter coup for free there. People should definitely read that.
All right. And if you guys do sign up over at Odyssey, we've been doing a series called Web of Deception, and the Web of Deception series, so far we've published 6 episodes. This Sunday, I guess we'll be at episode number 7, where we'll be talking about a whole nother cast of characters. And this has been really well received. People hear about the Super Mario Brothers, they hear about the lawfare stuff, they don't quite understand the backstory, and they're like, what's all this coming from? And, isn't Robert David Steele dead? And, things like that. So we've been digging into this stuff. It's really been awesome. I encourage you guys, if you haven't watched any of the episodes, pick one, and you're going to want to go back to the first one. Like, start at 2, start at 3, start at 4, start at 5. Doesn't matter. You're going to want to go back to number 1. You're going to go, I got to see this stuff, man. This is crazy what this is all about. So I encourage everybody, watch Web of Deception. You can find that either on my channel, Jason's channel. Enjoy. I think you're going to dig that. We've got some mega breaking news in tonight's show. And that's why Ivanka insisted on wearing that dress in the thumbnail. Women, what are you going to do, right? Or if I want to wear, she says, no, I insist. This is Leonardo AI. And so I guess now we know Leonardo AI is perverted. So congratulations.
Well, I'm driving it. So, I think some of the blame.
All right. So the gist of this is one of our viewers pointed out a tweet from Ivanka Trump from November of 2020. And we're going to take a closer look at that as we get into the show and see what's all this about. But I feel like everybody has been, to a certain degree, hypnotized. And what I'm going to try and do tonight is kind of snap everybody out of it. Okay, you're not a chicken. I know you think you're a chicken. I don't know you feel like a chicken. I think, oh, hell yeah, man.
How can
I studied. As a magician, I got to a certain point where I wanted to understand hypnosis, basically because David Blaine was doing self-hypnosis. So that's how David Blaine does a good portion of the stuff he does, when he sticks the thing through his hand and all that.
Oh, yeah. He really is doing that, right?
Yeah, yeah. So he used to travel with a hypnotist who I met, because I met David Blaine at a book sign before he'd perform it. And then it got to the point where he learned self-hypnosis to be able to take himself into that state.
But is it scientifically, I mean, is this real?
Oh, yeah. Like if you get a real, not, BSE hypnotist, it's as legit as can be.
Feels like it's a Vegas show.
No. It is super, super, super legit. So, but I don't want to talk too much about that, because what we're going to try and do is snap people out of it tonight, right? I'm trying to get people to, and this is the term awake. I feel like the liberal left lunatics co-opted the term woke. We're going to have to do a whole show on that, because I'm trying to wake people up from the mainstream media hypnosis that's been going on. Now, that doesn't mean that there wasn't a pandemic. Oh, there was a pandemic. But I'm going to show you some information that just kind of changes everything in a major way. But first, let's take a look at the first couple slides here. So I hit 48,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Congratulations.
Thank you, guys. Greatly appreciate that. And I'm at 24,000 on Twitter.
Whoops. Which
is pretty mathematically delightful, right? We got 24,000 on Twitter, 48,000 on YouTube, 2x. So that's pretty cute. I just thought,
really good.
All right, so that's what's happening there. Last week we talked about the top 10 things the government does and what you're seeing or hearing about. We get a story that comes out that now there's a new CIA whistleblower who says that there's 9 spaceships that we have acquired, and we've got dead aliens, we've got live aliens, we got pieces of aliens, got oh yeah.
But this is aren't these guys kind of taking Bob Lazar's story?
It's a CIA whistleblower. What do I know? All I know is that would qualify as a story the government probably doesn't want you to know, is that there's 9 UFOs at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio, right?
Aliens,
that would probably, that would qualify. In fact, that might even be number 1, right? So if the story was, hey, look, not only do we have 9 spacecraft at Wright-Patterson, we got 11 more at Fort Knox. What do you think? We keep gold there? Right? So, okay, so that's the story there. So this is what we're trying to get into last week, right? Well, one of these stories that freak these guys out so much, clearly the UFO thing freaks them out a bit. However, this pandemic this was what I was taking away from your conversation with Matt Taibbi. You just published a thing on Subscribestar and Patreon and whatever with, you went to the Montauk Club, and Matt Taibbi's giving a talk. And he starts talking about the GEC, and he starts to, he said he didn't even know about the GEC before the Twitter files, which is like amazing to me, because we've been talking about the Smith Modernization Act here since you and I started doing stuff together. So another great piece of work by you that's available to your patrons. So if you guys aren't patrons,
this is free.
Jason's.
This is free.
Okay, well, go check this out.
What do you think, awesome. John, about this potential FBI UCO who was disrupting the event?
That's why people need to watch this. It gets very creepy. And
look at this guy with the hat next to him. He's like, oh, I'm just not paying attention.
That's creepy as can be. All right, we got a lot to get to, though. I don't want to run out of time. All right, so we've got the next slide in the deck is a tweet that I put out this week that got 1 million views.
Oh, yeah. Congratulations on that, too.
And 500 likes.
Wow.
How do you get a million views and only 500 likes?
Yeah,
and it had 154 retweets. How do you get 154 retweets and only 500 likes? That's kind of weird. And look how many people bookmarked it. Hundreds of people bookmarked it, but only 500 of them liked it. That's kind of weird. 1 million views. Maybe the counter is broken.
It's weird.
Maybe somebody should check the like counter, because I've seen it where you click it and then I come back and it seems like, oh, it didn't register. I wonder why.
Yeah, I think they just make that up. All
right, so this is the animation of those buggers. So these are the culprits.
What do you mean?
And
the things list that were colliding and then hitting the earth.
Yeah, so this is the list of all the things you see in the previous slide. So the prior slide are all those objects that are careening.
Right.
Right. And they all have names, right? And if you look at the next slide, you'll see they all have names. And so this one of our viewers said, if I wanted to key in the list of all these things, what are they? Well, here you go. So here they are. So those are all the objects that we see on that thing, right? All right, so let's get to our mega break, because this is kind of holy moly. So this is the tweet that one of our viewers sends me to, and the comment was, maybe John Cullen and Brooke Jackson should weigh in on this. And so let's read. Why don't you read what Ivanka had to say? She posted this on November 16th of 2020. Read the top tweet, not the middle tweet. Read the thing on top where she says fact check.
Fact check. This Moderna NIH vaccine is literally the one that President real Donald Trump partnered with Moderna to create on January 13th, 2020. I repeat, January 13th, 2020. Just be happy. This is great news for America and for the world.
Okay. January 13th, 2020. Make a note of that. Okay.
But NIH also, they seem to have hired someone who is all over this show.
I don't know. Well, again, this is 2020, right? So this is November 2020. She tweets this out, right?
But so she's responding to this Irish Patty 54. If there is an effective vaccine, it is in spite of Donald Trump, not because of Donald Trump. He has barely acknowledged coronavirus exists. So what is going on here, John?
Well, Ivanka is telling us, my daddy signed a deal with Moderna on January 13th. I repeat, January 13th. All right, so it's not immediately evident what's going on, right? I mean, you guys know, right? You play Texas Hold'em. Right? If we don't wait for the flop, you don't know what the hell's going on, right? All right, so Ivanka says, Daddy signed a contract with Moderna January 13th. I repeat, January 13th. Be happy, shut up. This is great news for everybody. Stop being a bitch. Don't be an idiot, Patty, you dumb bitch. Okay, next slide. What does Mike Pence have to say? Everybody loves Mike Pence, right? Everybody's a big fan of Mike Pence, right?
But why are they waiting until November to say this?
I don't know, and it just happens to be the same day. It happens to be November 16th. They both are posting this on November 16th for some reason. I don't know. This is again, weird coincidence. What do I know? But Mike Pence sends out a tweet and says, on January 13th, Moderna partnered with President real Donald Trump and the NIH to develop, and the NIH is basically the same Dr. Fauci and Francis Collins, to develop a vaccine for the American people. Exclamation. Today, Moderna announced their vaccine is 95% effective.
At
what? Yeah, and tomorrow it's 94, and then it's 93. No, joking. Of course, we all know it's 95% effective forever.
It doesn't matter. We know it's effective.
And remember what Zuckerberg said was, does it matter if it's effective as long as it's safe? It's like, what kind of moron? All right, so Operation Warp Speed is a success because of the strong leadership of this president. All right, so both Mike Pence and Ivanka Trump are telling us that real Donald Trump signed a deal with Moderna on January 13th to develop a vaccine for the American people. Is that patriotic or what? Right? Is that beautiful? What
people
a beautiful
wanted
thing.
that. Some people wanted that at that time. November 16th, so 2020, right? When did the vaccine start? December 2020, right?
Barely, like not for
January
people like
21?
you, like Joe Biden got it in December 2020, right?
But
for,
like
for
January,
normal,
February
right.
2021. Okay,
correct.
So a lot of people wanted that. That's why that guy's saying in spite of Trump, because he's like somebody who can't wait to get boosted with the vaccine.
Right. Now, if you go to this next slide, you'll see that it was Thomas B. Who connected us. So he said, I am Brooke Jackson. I am John Cullen. You may wish to add to this conversation, might help add pertinent details. So I chimed into Ivanka Trump's tweet from November of 2020. And if you take a look at my tweet, I'm citing Reuters. And in my tweet, I said, right, I'm allowed to cite Reuters. And the article from Reuters says China says the second person died in Wuhan pneumonia outbreak, and this was on January 15th.
How is a two-person outbreak even an outbreak?
Well, meaning dead people.
But
so, so here's the story. So January 16th of 2020, we get the story from Reuters, and it says a second person has died from pneumonia in Wuhan. 69-year-old guy. He had abnormal renal function, severe damage to multiple organs. That's kind of weird. That reminds me of a different disease. Reminds me of another disease.
What is that? What does it remind you
of? Severe damage to multiple organs.
Ebola?
No.
What?
The Blue Death. That's what it did. When they did the autopsies, the organs were like foaming.
Oh.
It was really weird. So, but here's the thing. What does it say? What's the final sentence of the second paragraph say? It says he died on what?
January 15th. Oh.
What's the title of the article again? What's it say? China says what? China says what? China says second person dies in Wuhan. What does it say on the end of the second paragraph? He died when?
January 15th.
January 15th. Let's go back up a slide or two to what did Mike Pence say? Mike Pence said Moderna partnered with when? January 13th.
Yeah.
January 13th. We just heard from Reuters that the second guy died January 15th. So that means on January 13th, when President Trump...
Only one. Right.
We got one dead guy?
Yeah.
So let's go back to Ivanka. Go back up to Ivanka. Ivanka, you want to help me wake everybody up? Slap in the face? Ivanka, why did Daddy sign a deal with Moderna? If one man was dead in China, all of China, there's 1.4 billion people. One guy dies of pneumonia? And Daddy signs a deal with Moderna? What for? If one guy died of pneumonia in St. Louis tomorrow, are we going to freak out, sequence that guy, distribute his snot, and tell everybody make a vaccine because this guy died of pneumonia? What was it about this one guy that died that they said, "Oh my God, Martha, we better sequence this. Put this up on Jembang.
You didn't tell
share this
that
with
part yet.
Which part?
They sequenced it. You didn't talk about that yet. How they sequenced it.
Well, he's already signing a thing with Moderna for the product. You got one dead guy. So does that mean if we get one dead guy in Lesotho next week from the monkey ass disease? It's not monkeypox. This is monkey ass. It's similar. It's a cousin to the disease.
It's a derivative.
We're going to need a vaccine for that because we got one dead guy in Lesotho? We got one dead guy. There's one dead guy, Ivanka. Why is Daddy signing a deal with Moderna? There's one dead guy. What the hell do we need a vaccine for? Because one guy's dead? He's going to do a nationwide. He's going to save America.
Talk about this on not YouTube.
Well, we're going to, yeah. Oh, where do you see the supporting materials? These are just the tweets. These are just the tweets. So now let's go to my tweet after that Reuters article. So you had the big, right, and then the next tweet. There you go. So I sent this tweet to Mike Pence. Now, the funny thing here is YouTube doesn't like Mike Pence. So when I pin Mike Pence to the mat and pull his pants down, YouTube kind of likes this. They think this is kind of cool. So this video ain't going to get pulled down. I can kind of guarantee you that. So here's what happens. I send this tweet. I said, why did President of the United States sign a deal with Moderna that Mike Pence is blabbing about here? January 13th, 2020. Only one person was dead from SARS-CoV-2 infection in all of China. Doesn't add up, Mike. 4,000 people were dying a week from influenza in America when this deal was signed. So the day the deal was signed, we are already at 4,000 dead a week. Why is Mike Pence lying? That means you're going to hell, Mike. You're going to hell, Mike Pence. You lied to America. You told everybody that the president signed a deal with Moderna on January 13th to produce a vaccine for America. Let's go back to the tweet. What did Mike Pence leave out? The word COVID. He left out the word COVID. His tweet is the one right after Ivanka's, right? Mike Pence partnered with President Real Trump to develop a vaccine for the American people. You see the word COVID in there?
Yeah, good point.
I don't see the word COVID in there.
He's pretty tricky, isn't he?
Is that how you think?
Is he a lawyer?
Is this? Well, I think this is how he thinks he's not going to hell. No, you're going to hell, Mike. You're going to hell, and YouTube is going to leave this video up to help you go to hell because you lied to everybody, Mike. You're a weasel. You're a loser, right? What did you do, Mike? There's one guy dead in all of China. One man has died. And you're going to do a deal with Moderna? Whoa. All right, I've only got one more minute. We're going to scroll down to the tweet with the big blue box that says Corona. Yeah. Now, here's a tweet from the World Health Organization. On the 13th of January, the first case was reported outside of China and Thailand. That day, working with our partners, we published the first instructions for how to make a PCR test. How many people were dead on January 13th in China?
One.
If there's one dead guy, what the hell do you need a PCR test?
Yeah, they're really ready.
Did his eyes fall out? Did his arms fall off? Did his testicles go to... What happened here? Did everybody's losing their mind over one guy dies from pneumonia?
So coordinated.
That we got to sequence him. We got to do this. All right, so now go to my next slide. I know we got to go to our patron-only portion, but I want you to see this next slide because this is the piece that... So we got one dead guy in all of China. We got one case in Thailand. So Trump signs a deal with Moderna for vaccines in America because one dead, you got one. I've been to China. You could have a guy dead from pneumonia and they might not notice for 3 or 4 days.
For like a month, right, yeah. Yeah, it's a little weird.
A little weird. A little weird. Two more slides down. Go 2 more down because here's where it gets even scarier. After this guy, we'll play that video for our patrons. This is it and we're done. On the 11th of January, China shared the genetic sequence of the virus for countries to use. On that same day, the first guy died.
Whoa. Maybe you don't trust that sequence.
No. Hold on. Well, first of all, did you sequence this guy? Is the guy who died the guy you sequenced, or did you sequence the guy in the bed next to him?
Figure out the DNA of it?
We're going to publish, right? We're going to publish the sequence for you to use in your PCR tests and your vaccines. This is what they gave to Dr. Fauci. This is what Moderna was given, and 2 hours later they had a vaccine, or whatever the story. I'm paraphrasing, but Moderna gets a vaccine, and boom, they got it, right?
Short time, right?
They give them this is the thing. But they've only got one dead guy. So if you've only got one dead guy, did you sequence the dead guy, or did you sequence the guy 2 beds over from the dead guy, and did that guy die? What if the guy they sequenced didn't die? Why are you sending us a sequence from a guy that didn't die when we got one dead guy? And if there's only one dead guy, who gives a shit? It's China. You've got one dead guy from pneumonia in China. Oh, well,
now,
we better sequence it and spread that to the world to make a vaccine and make a PCR test. And nobody noticed this for 3.5 years until today.
Yeah.
How do you like that? There's one guy dead in China. Let's distribute the sequence. Maybe not from that guy, maybe from the guy 2 beds over, who maybe died, maybe didn't die. We're not real sure. But we've got one dead guy. Let's sign a deal with Moderna. Let's distribute the sequence. Jason, how many dead guys less than one can you have?
Not too many.
None.
Less.
So there is none less than one.
Yeah.
So with only one guy dead in all of China, 1.4 billion people, Donald Trump signs a deal with Moderna, and China publishes the sequence of a virus that killed one guy. I'm John Cullen, and every physician on earth now can kiss my ass. You missed it. You missed it again. I don't know what to tell you guys.
Yeah, it's amazing.
You just kind of don't have calendars? Remember the joke by Stephen Wright where he says, I can't call everybody. My phone doesn't have the number 7. Everybody's missing the number 11 on the calendar, number 13, number 15. Nobody looked at the dates. Nobody pays attention to the details. Nobody on earth, Jason. This is why you are an unacceptable risk at this point. You and I had just became unacceptable risks.
I was there a while ago, I think.
Now you just won the homecoming queen.
Well, listen,
dude, this is it. This changes everything.
It does.
What was in the vaccine? What was in the PCR test? Who did they sequence? Why? There's one guy dead.
Yeah.
Wait till you see the supporting material. That's what our patrons are going to get to see. If you're not a patron, this is the biggest story about COVID of this year.
Maybe
this
ever.
is it. Well, I don't know about that, but this is, boy, oh boy. You talk about a missing piece of the puzzle that everybody missed, and it was right in front of your eyes, and the source is the WHO. Kiss my ass. I'm John Cullen. Thanks for joining.